Hey, I think that actually got it. Did that get it? Yeah, I think that got it. Bloody time. Let's check on here. No. Started 1 minute ago. Oh, I swear to God. That got it. No. Wait a minute. Is that... What the fuck is going on with this thing? Yeah, not bad, Phil. I think. I don't know if I can get this bloody working. This is like... I can see the chat there. I want it on my phone, so I can see chat on my phone. What the fuck is it giving me a chance? I need a link to my own stream. I think. I assume you guys can hear me, right? Come on. Right, okay. I'm just going to assume you can. Problem is, I can't see the chat. Not without looking over there, anyway. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. I'll figure it out on my phone in a minute. Yeah, but I got a massive stack of PS2's. Let's have a look. I'll bring them up. No, of course that doesn't want. Hang on. Sort that out. Right. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So that's what I'm tackling. And I know the microphone sounds far away. I've got two microphones, different sides of the room. But this stack is what I'm going to be looking at. Yeah. So, yeah, let me see if I can sort this shit out anyway, real quick. What I need is to get the thing up on my phone, which is really weird because it's not showing me on my own channel this stream, which means I can't view the chat without looking at the PC, which is miles away. Because most of you probably don't know I've moved house. I don't live in a flat anymore. I live in a house now. But yeah, I got a new setup. But yeah, I'm just trying to bear with me. It's teething problems, right? It's the first time I've done this in over a year, I think. So I think the last time I streamed was about September last year. So yeah, there we go. Right, cool. So I found my own stream at last. And there we go, there's chat. Great. Okay. Yeah, no, I already did that, Phil. I think it's just my OBS Studio is a bit messed up because I've not used it in forever. I updated it today with stream elements and so on. But yeah, like I say, moved house, new room. I've got a dedicated repair room now, which is nice. Instead of it being part of my bedroom. Another drink. I'm gonna crack on now. I think my stack of PS2's here. That stack in the corner, which you can't see right now. They're all I think they're all laser problems, but I'm going to check them all anyway. And if they are, they're relatively easy fixes. But yeah, we'll get to it anyway. I've actually repaired a whole bunch of other PS2's over time. Various things like no power, stuff like that, fixing power supplies and what have you. But I've not streamed or recorded any of it because I've, just not got to it. And I've had other projects on the go that I've not covered on my channel at all. This one's pretty cool. This one is custom paint job I've been doing on a PS1, which I think looks pretty decent. Although some of this text is a bit skew with, I've got to redo it, but yeah. Anyway. Yeah, it's not there yet. It's still in bits, right? But that's the end goal on that one. But yeah, so if I leave this here, where I can see things, there's a bit of delay on it. Anyway, right, so rather than staring at my phone all the time, I'm going to crack on. So I'm going to switch over to where all the PlayStation 2's are. I'm going to hook them up one by one, test them, see what's wrong with them, and then we'll take it from there. So let's crack on. So, this is the testing area, which is a different microphone and camera. But if we start from the bottom and make our way up, some of these are quite nice physically, and some of them are really not. Like this one, this is going to need a real big clean-up. Not sure how well that shows. But yeah, we'll start with this one. And rather than using HDMI capture, I'm actually going to be testing these on a good old-fashioned CRT, complete with aerial. And the big old stack of DualShock 2's there, they're all controllers I've repaired. I have been sort of busy. Yeah, anyway, let's crack on. I'm pretty sure all of these power on. I don't think any other power up like power faults. Let's find out. Well, let me grab some games as well. I'm going to need a DVD game. I'm going to need a CD-ROM game. And I'm going to need a PlayStation 1 game as well. We'll go with a classic. So, I can already tell this unit has a working battery in it. So that's good news. Ooh, that drive's slow. That needs a new belt. Okay. Let's see if it can read games. Don't look promising. Doesn't sound promising either, that one. That's definitely a bum DVD drive. But let's see if it will read. It will read, okay. Sometimes with these lasers, they will read games, but they'll take forever, and that either means that the diode's on the way out, or that the lens is clouded over or dusty or something like that. So there's a few ways you can go about fixing it. One is to try and eke out more from the original laser, and that means hooking it up to an oscilloscope, getting a nice eye pattern on there, adjusting the peak-to-peak voltage, which is a pain in the arse. I don't really like doing it, because I can be at it for hours adjusting it, and it's not worth the time. And it's not necessarily a reliable fix. So we can see that's reading DVD very slowly. We'll see about CD-ROM now. Blue bat discs. Let's have a look. Don't you love these old CRTs? Come on, show me the money. Yeah, okay. So that's a bad sign. The reason that's a bad sign is because it loaded the CD-ROM base game instantly, but not the DVD-ROM game. PS2 laser assemblies, they have two laser diodes that fire through the same focusing lens. And the problem with that is, if it's having problems reading a DVD, but reads a CD-ROM fine, it means the DVD diode's out of whack. So you can adjust just the DVD diode, but again, at the age of these units, it's not really worth doing because you end up having to put more power through that, and it's just, yeah, it's just not worth doing because it'll just burn out. So this one is working with PS2 CD-ROM. God, that is painfully slow. Definitely needs looking at. And let's try a PS1 game just because. PS2 CD-ROM games, they run at a higher speed in the PS2 than PS1 games do. So, yeah. Let's give that a reset. I don't have a remote for this thing either. Can't actually tune it in or anything. Okay, that loaded pretty quick. Yeah, so that's working fine with CD-ROM based media. It worked, yeah, worked fine on Crazy Taxi, fine on Metal Gear. That means that the DVD one's definitely gone bad. So this drive needs servicing. It's probably all that's up with it. What we'll do real quick, we'll give it a quick test with free McBoot, free memory card boot, just to see that it's reading memory card slots, which it is because we've got free McBoot up. So yeah, cool. All right, this one's pretty straightforward then. So we'll do this one first. Should be a pretty boring repair to be fair, but we'll see. But yeah, so that's fine. Alrighty. Good. Yes, stories of my demise. I've been premature. Alright, let's look at the chat, because I've not been looking at the chat while I've been over there. And apparently, because Google is shit, the chat disappeared on me. Because of course it did. Let's look over here. Right. Yeah, Crazy Taxi was hell of a game. Yeah, you can get CRTs cheap, if you know where to look. Right. And I got Fair Wars for my PSP before I had access to the original version of the Offspring song. I converted MIDIs to... That kind of conversation. You remind me of somebody with a different name. What was the name? What was the name? Yes, I forget. So, person talking about MIDIs and music and stuff. Rowan? Is it Rowan? Can't remember. Anyway, let's crack on. So first of all, we got to get into this. These are really easy to get into. You just got to pop these tabs off. Screws are underneath, 6 screws. This is a 35003 revision, and it's a bit filthy as well, so great. Means I got a cleaning job to do. But, you know, so is the cost of retro and retro repair. I've actually had a whole load of things go weird on me recently. One of my monitors blew up on me. PC monitor. Left nice scorch marks on the PCB as well. Power supply went. Very interesting issue. Basically, the cap's degraded, and one of the chokes on the board had taken up the slack for the cap, and in the process, scorched the board. Go figure. Now, judging by the way these screws feel, you might hear they make a little snap. I'm not sure if the microphone filters it, but it means this hasn't been opened. Yeah, that's a nice snap. No, I said this is a 35003. I do have a 3003 down by me, actually, I think. Which one? Is this it? Yeah, there we go. It's a 3003 one. This one works. This one's fine. Not the nicest shell, but it works. I think I've got more. It's probably one of these is a 003 model. Why are they interested in that specific revision, though? Right, I need to say hello to everybody anyway. I really do. So let's see who's on. Who's on? Right, who have we got? Well, I've said hello to Phil. Hello, MD Genjin. RB King 80. Always good to see you. And you're right that CRTs are much better for retro. Angela. Oh, hello, Angela. Yeah, okay. Sweet. Said hello. And, no, I'm missing one very important person, actually. And that is my fiancée, Earl Grey. She be watching. She's put up with many a night of me disappearing and tinkering with electronics. And she's been over in the UK. Right, the first step when opening these are a real pain depending on which revision of the PS2 you have, because if you're not careful when you open them up, you can rip a ribbon cable on the front switch. So what you have to do is kind of... Have I missed screws on this one? No. But I have missed the label on the back because this one hasn't been opened, so... It's being opened now. I don't care about this old warranty sticker anymore. It can get sliced. If it was a newer console, I'd preserve it, but... You know... It ain't. Right. So yeah, the trick is to lift them up towards you. Assuming you can... What is wrong with this label? It's on the seam as well, isn't it? Yeah, that should do it. So you lift them like this towards you. Gently wiggle and then move like that. And that's why. You can see this little ribbon cable. These are a pain. God, this thing's filthy. It might just be that. There's a small chance that the issue is going to be just dirt. But I would have thought that it wouldn't read CD-ROMs as well. But you just don't know until you try. This one's got a real nasty kink in it, actually. Anyway. There we go. Yeah, that could do a wash. All that dust in the front there. Oh, sorry to hear it, Angela. Death in the family. But yeah, so let's crack on. Move that ribbon out of the way. What I'm going to start off with this is I don't need to fully disassemble it right now. I only need to get at the CD-ROM DVD-ROM, so I can just remove these. I'm just going to have a look at the state it's in. If it's bad, I'll switch the laser assembly. If it's not bad and it's rescuable with a clean, then we'll just do that. So we'll see. So let's crack it open. Gosh, it's been a long time. Yeah, I had one PS2 that went. That was a really, it was a real get to fix the power supply on it because it was a couple of unmarked Xena diodes. No values on them. I ended up having to look at the data sheets for the management controller and figuring out what it would have needed. That was a pain. Okay, so there's a few things we have to do on this, if I remember rightly. So we need to put a new band on it because the drive's slow. We're probably going to need to re-grease the rails and a few other things. So it's probably going to be best, actually, if I eject the drive and remove this DVD drive tray to get at the rest of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it over there just to give it power. I'm going to power it up, eject the DVD drive, unplug it, come back and just disassemble this drive. And I really should get my air compressor on this thing, but it's a bit late for that. I live in a terrace house, probably annoy people. Okay. At least I don't have to do any more links cables. Yeah, the ribbon cables on those are such a pain in the ass. Right. So, I'm going to have to switch scene and head over to the testing area. We only need power. And if you do this yourself, do be careful about the mains power. There you go, and that's all we needed. Also, there's a massive honking capacitor on the bottom of the power supply that you have to be careful of as well. I actually zapped myself on one of those. It wasn't fun. Okay, this is in surprisingly good condition. See? It's really not bad. Oh, however, you know what? It's Sunday. I'm having a drink. Right. Okay. I do recall these are a bit funny to get out. So, oh. Yeah. So on the underside of the DVD here, of the tray, there's a screw right here. You have to get that first. That releases the rail, and then you should be able to just finagle it. And there we go, that's the tray out. So what we'll do is we'll put that to the side, and I'll remember that I put it to the side instead of losing it. Now we have access to the gubbins. Right. Yes, DIC bad on a PS. Wait. Oh, Xbox Series. Well, yeah, Yeah, the drives were real finicky, right? They're not too bad if you keep them maintained and cleaned and so on, but, you know, they were just prone to dying. I think there were various revisions as well of these drives. You had the KHS 400B laser assembly, this thing, and KHS 400C, which was a slightly improved version. Now then. Oh yeah, that belt's crap. That's a dry belt. Oh, I just looked straight into a light bulb. Oh, man. Right, that can go in the trash. Let's get a new belt on this thing then. In fact, let's not jump the gun. Let's no, actually these gears are fine dry. Get this new belt on. Yeah, that feels a lot better. Okay. Yeah. Because before that was coming out real slow. It's because of that belt. And while we're in here, let's give it a quick clean off with shop towels. Now, the interesting thing with these PS2 lasers is it is possible to repair them without fully disassembling the console. Or replace them, should I say. If you're actually trying to repair them like using an oscilloscope, you're going to have to solder to a couple of test points on the main PCB for the RF pattern. That's a pain in the ass on some of the models. Alright, there we go. Okay. You know, I've got screws on this mat. I don't even know what some of these things are, you know. So yeah, I mean, I've been gone a while from the YouTube sort of side of things. You know, I've been watching people, but like I've not really been active. So, you know, just wondering how everyone's doing. I don't tend to watch live streams anymore. Which maybe I should. Just depends on when they are, I guess. Alright, so the next thing we've got is this. So that's bone dry. Yeah, that doesn't feel good. That rail, the grease on that's probably not helping anymore. And we know we've got a problem with this laser assembly. So what we'll do, we'll release these rails, set them to the side, and we'll remove this laser. So let's get to it. I'm going to clean these up another day, I think. Like, disassemble it. Get rid of all the dust bunnies and what have you. So yeah, you pull out the rails first. Or at least that's how I do it. And that gives you a little bit of slack. And with that slack, you can then get to the bottom of the laser assembly. Let me see if I can zoom in for you folks. There we go. So, yeah, it's as simple as that. And then we just need to pull these tabs to release the cable or the ribbon. Or do what I did and just, you know, launch it out. It's fine. God, I hate these. There we go. Yeah, so what we can do is there's a few things we need from this anyway if we're replacing it. I'll try giving it a quick clean, maybe. You know what? That's probably a waste of time. Actually, no, I won't. But let's see what revision it is. I should say. Oh, I guess it doesn't really matter anyway. So, yeah, and while we're in here, what we will do, we'll apply some grease to it. We'll grease me up, woman. So. And this is just standard silicone grease. Get a little bit down the line like that. And then just sort of spread it into the gear like that. That's it. So, we'll grease that up. Let's just spin the motor. Yeah, motor's fine. And whatever you do, if you're doing this yourself, don't start playing with this thing. This adjusts the height. It allows you to adjust, what is it, tangential? Something like that. It's basically the angle the laser fires up at the disc. Right, I'm just going to check chat. Uber Micro, yeah, long time no see, man. Mesmic. Okay, so yeah, we got that greased up fine. That should do for that. So we'll set the console apart because I've got to work on the actual laser assembly. Right. This bad boy. These are a bit of a bugger. So first up, we'll need this bit of plastic. And that should be it. Oh, it's a 400B, this unit. And as it happens, I think I've got a few of these right here. Take a look. Yeah, there we go. That's a 400B. Sometimes these don't come with a screw. This is a height adjustment screw for one of the rails, right? So, like, it adjusts the angle. There's a few angles these lasers need to be positioned at for optimal performance. And if you take a look, there's a screw. Let's see if that'll focus. There. You need to adjust the height of that screw to get it right. These are usually set correctly out of the factory, and this unit looks fine, so it should just be a case of a simple swap on this one. What we do need to do, though, is just remove this anti-static solder, or this won't work. So if we just quickly get rid of that. Yeah, right there. I'll just fire that up, and my camera always cuts out when I switch the soldering iron on, and I have no idea why it does that. Yeah. PS2 was a great console as well. There's some nice little mods for them. Like the Free McBoot's really good because you can just fire up a load of ISOs directly from an SD card in the memory card slot. It's pretty cool that you can actually do that. Let's get rid of that flux. Now, these do come with 2 power adjustment screws on them. You can see them right here. You've got one for DVD, one for CD-ROM. Can't remember which way round these are. One of these is just DVD laser diode, one CD diode. And if you take a look at the end of the unit here, I need to get it in focus. This thing right here is the actual laser diode assembly itself. It's funny, that looks a bit cracked, doesn't it? Yeah, probably isn't though, because this is just like this is a polyimide PCB. But on the other side of it is the laser, so yeah. Anyway, that should be good to be put in the new unit. Let's just double check though. Where's that other? Yeah, right here. The adjustment screw looks to be the same actually. This should just be a straight swap. So if we flip back over to the overhead, which is annoying, so I have to keep scooching over. I'm Dan, the guy streaming. This fool is Dan. Yeah, so this is our CD-ROM, and that's we're going to put back in CD-ROM, DVD-ROM. The nice thing about these older consoles is, unlike newer machines, I did forget to do something, but unlike newer machines, you don't have to actually marry up the laser or anything. Like with PS3s, you'd need to marry the laser to the console. And I think with things like the PS4 and onwards, you need to basically just transplant the bloody Renesas chip or something silly like that. Phil knows about that one more than I do. Yeah, there we go. So next thing up, we got these 2 old rails which are full of dry grease. So I'm going to clean those off. And we'll re-grease them once they're actually in. Assuming I can pick them out. It's a bit of a pain in the ass. Come on, yep. There we are. So what we want to do is it goes this orientation because this sits on this worm gear. And what we want to do is we want to just pop out these tabs without brutalizing it like I did the old one. Like that. And then in this orientation, we just want to slide the connector in. Like that. They're really not too difficult to work with. Yeah, there we go. Right, great. So that's in. Then we need the 2 cap screws. These. Nice and simple, these jobs. See, I took a while learning about how these things actually work. I might do a real quick teardown on the old laser assembly. Because why not? Right, so we got that. So next thing we need to do is just lubricate these rails up. Use a bit more silicone grease for that. Ideally, you probably want to use white lithium grease, but silicone grease is just fine. I do have some lithium grease. It's just not white lithium. It's that brown stuff you put on your cars. Does the job though. But yeah, what I do with these as well is like when I'm actually fully tearing them down, I tear them down. I rinse them in the shower. I give them a scrub if they've got marks on or anything like that. And yeah, I give them the old full-on refurb treatment, because why not? I've been selling these on eBay, actually. I've sold a few now. Yeah, there we go. Ah, that feels like it's snagging. And I bet that is snagging. So what I was doing there is I'm doing a test. I'm running it up like that, and right there it's snagging. It won't go any further. And I remember when that happens, basically the bottom of the CD laser assembly is crashing into the bottom of the console. I can't actually remember how I fixed this last time. So what we'll do is undo that, and we'll just have a quick look at the bottom. It looks fine. Why is that happening? I remember this happening before. Oh, it's because the drive's not up. The drive snaps up when it's in operation. Yeah, that's right. When it's in operation, this comes up. That would be why. So that's fine. Well, that's moving freely, so that's going to be okay. All right. Yeah, that tripped me up last time as well. But I forgot this drive pops up and down. So that's it. That's that transplant done. I'll head on over to the test area in a second, and what we'll do is we'll try it out with a DVD again. But what I will do quickly as well, even though this is a new laser, I'm still going to just give the top of the diode, well, not the diode, the focusing lens a wipe. There we go. Actually, I think the very first PS2 I worked on was for what was his name? RW 2012 or something like that. Booter is a noob. Right, let's have a look. What's people saying? That's a lot of chat. Okay, so all right. Yeah, I didn't forget the anti-static, Lee. Easy to miss though. Although actually I'm quite far behind, so there we go. Oh, David, computer booter, he's brilliant. I love him. He's hilarious. He's a really nice guy as well, actually. Like if you're American and you need any of your consoles looking at, he's a good guy to go to. He'll look after you. Right, let's give this old girl a test run, shall we? So, what I'm going to do, switch scene again. Oh, thanks, Tony. I don't get so many subs anymore because I don't stream or make much content these days. Which, you know, I'm looking to fix that. So, because it's been a while. Right. I assume this can be seen okay. Yeah, it can. Alright. So, I'm just making sure I've not forgotten anything. I don't think I have. I put a new belt in. I've greased the worm gear, I've greased the rails. Got a new laser in. We've not adjusted that. We've not adjusted the height of the laser, but that should be fine. So there's only one last thing we need, which is this. Now then. Let's do a test. TV's on. What's going on with that? We try ejecting. Sounds like the belt's slipping, doesn't it? The new belt. No. What's going on with this then? Have I missed something? No. Let's try that again. I think it's the belt. I think I might need a tighter belt on that. Yeah, because if you look, that should be the position it's in when it's in operations. That'll allow it to move up and down the sled freely. So let's give it a go anyway. The ejection mechanism shouldn't matter for this test, so you just pop that in, pop that in. Okay. So we've got Crazy Taxi now. It did work on CD-ROM before. The real test is whether it works with DVD now, so let's just turn it off. It also sounds like it's not detecting that it's reached its end stop, and I'm not sure why that is. I think this might be a slightly defective laser assembly. I've had this happen before actually. I'll show what the problem is on that. If you hear that grinding noise, there's a little end stop switch here, and yeah, it looks like this has got the problem I've seen before. These Chinese replacement laser assemblies, the metal on them's bad, and I'll show you what I mean by that. You have to basically work around the problem, usually by taping something to the end stop. It's ridiculous, but anyway, I'll show what I mean. Yeah, so that's crashing into the end stop because it's not detecting it's reached the end. It won't harm it, but... Okay, that's interesting, isn't it? So we've got a brand new laser in there and, well, it doesn't seem brilliant, does it? that worm gear doesn't sound so great either. Yeah, sounds like R2-D2. Yeah, that's taken absolutely forever. Alright, so I think that laser assembly is a write-off and was not what we need, so fine. Whatever, we'll deal with it. So we've got two problems. We've got the problem with the belt. The belt needs to be tighter. So I'll have to switch that out. And I have to switch the laser again because I've got a bad part. Joy of joys. Right. So, what's going on in People Land? Let's have a look. Thanks for subscribing, John Stout and Carlos Yamar. Welcome. Okay. BRB, gotta go sell on eBay, fix and flip. Yep, that's what I'm doing. Yeah, the laser does not sound happy. So, two things with this thing. First up, the bad assembly. I'll show you what I mean. This has tripped me up before, actually. And I'll show you the anatomy of this DVD drive. So, we'll just take these rails out, we'll take the assembly out, and I'll show you what the problem is. So I'll just take these rails off, like so. So first up, this thing, right? What I'm talking about. So this is a replacement drive. Look at the end piece of metal here, right? You see how low that bump is there? If you look at this one, the original drive, spot the difference. It's a much more solid piece of metal, and what happens is this piece of metal here crashes into a switch, the end stop switch, which tells the DVD drive you can't move this any further, stop spinning the motor. Whereas that grinding noise you've been hearing is because that's missing on this replacement assembly. Now, I think this one's bad anyway, so yeah. I mean, it may not be. It may not be. But let's see if one of the other replacements is correct. I suspect not. Yeah. These all have defects, look. They all have this lack of a end stop blocker thing. So, it's not to say that these assemblies are bad, but they might need some modification. Now, modification is out of scope for what I want to do right now, so instead, I'm going to get a completely different laser assembly. This is going to be a KHS 400C, which the slightly newer revisions of PS2's use. They are actually more reliable in general anyway. But if you take a look, I can already see this one has the end stop part. What's interesting though, as I say, on the PCB it says KHS 400C there. On the old one, this one, this is KHS 400B. Where did I see that? Yeah, on the side here it says KHS 400B. And this is the replacement, which is also supposed to be KHS 400B. And it's sort of like, well, what is it? Right? Like, that's clearly not correct. So, anyway, yeah, so that's the original. That's the replacement. So I'm going to put the original up here, the replacement there, and I'm going to prepare this one because this probably has anti-static solder blob on it, and it does. So let's sort that out. There we go. I think I've got it. Not sure if I just nudged an SMD component, so I'm just going to quickly check that under the scope. No, I didn't. It's all good. There we go. And that's good to be swapped in. Now these ones are missing the adjustment screw, so I'm going to have to move that over. What I'll do is move it from the original. It's probably going to be better if I do that. So if we take a look on this one, there is a technique to this, but if you take a look here, that is the height adjustment screw right there. What we'll do is we'll take digital calipers and we'll measure how much of that screw is sticking out. Or I would if my calipers would switch on, but they won't. That's all right. What we'll do yeah, it's about there, isn't it? So I'm going to lock my calipers in place. The battery in them's dead because, of course, it is. When you need it, it's dead. Did I take that site down? I think I took it down. Did I? Don't know. Anyhow, so we got the 400C here. So we've got to take this adjustment screw. And that's not a Phillips head. It is a star head? Something. Let's have a look. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to do this by eye to begin with. Sorry about the focus there. there's a scope, there it is. And so I've just put that in by eye. I'm just going to see if that's actually in the right position now. Hopefully it is. Might need a bit of adjustment. Can't see crap there. So this one looks like it needs less height than the original. So what we'll do is we'll back this screw out a bit to about there. And I think that should get it roughly in line with the stock factory one. You can usually tell because, you know, it'll work or it won't. And the next thing we need is a little plastic thing from the worm gear. Just get this out of the way. So we need to put this, transfer this over. And the other thing is, this won't work straight off the bat. If I put this in that other PS2, the other PS2's not going to be able to read discs. I'm going to have to flash the PS2 firmware to recognize this new laser. Wait, that's the wrong way around. There we go. And again, we'll give the laser a quick wipe. The cotton swab. Or if I had used correct terminology for it, it's not technically a laser, it's an optical pickup. Because it's a whole assembly. And while we're at it, we could say we needed to look at this belt. So I think what's happening is this belt is just not tight enough. So if we get one that's a bit over tight and needs to be stretched, that should do the job. Yeah, when I took that original belt out, I could feel the rubber cracking and fraying on it. A bit like a cam belt in a car. You kind of don't want that. Yeah, I would have thought that would have been tight enough, but I guess not. Right, let's see what belts we got. Yeah, that's going to be better. So if you watch, you can see the mechanism. That's what it should do. Yeah, so I think the previous belt was just not the right size and it was slipping. So yeah, easy enough. Easy enough fix. Yeah, where's the screwdriver? But yeah, it's interesting because you really can't just swap out the laser and do nothing. You do need to flash the PS2 to get it to work with a new laser. It's easy enough to do if you've got the stuff to do it. You pretty much need free Mac boot, free memory card boot, and the lens swapper application for the PS2. And then you just gotta flash the damn thing and then power it off and then power it back on. Oh, that one's a bit loose. Be fine. And then let's put the spout in. Fine. So we've got the anti-static solder blob off. And I might at some point soon, by the way, have another crack at doing a Frankie PS3. I have all the equipment for it, but I do need to do some small modifications to my BGA station because it's a bit naff in its current state. I rewired it wrong internally a while back and just never got around to actually dealing with it. Because it caught fire on me at one point. Because the terminal block under the heaters was made of plastic. If you run it for long enough, the current going through the terminal blocks, which had insufficient... Oh, that feels way better. Had insufficient... what did it have? Insufficient gauge on the connectors between each terminal. And the wire was far too large a gauge for that amount of current. So it basically turned the wire into a heating element and caused the plastic to catch fire. It was absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, I need to look at that, but some other time. Right, now I think this is ready for another attempt. So let's just get this silicone grease off. Let's give it another go, shall we? Yeah, Vic, I did. I swapped out the terminals for ceramic terminals, but I really need to rewire the inside. In fact, I think I've got 3 800, yeah, 800 watt heating elements, but they're wired in parallel, so, you know, they're wired up wrong. And I don't think the housing's properly earthed either, which is something else I need to check. Right, I've just got to move over to the testing area. Hey, right. So we'll hook it up. Like so. Now I know this isn't going to work straight off the bat, so I'm going to need free Mac boot here and a controller. And I'll show you how you remarry the laser of a PS2. Normally if you're doing a direct swap, same model, you don't need to do this. But, yeah. And sorry about the audio quality as well, it's coming through a phone now rather than my normal microphone. But what you gonna do? So lens changer. Oh my god, this is such a messy UI. What? Oh god, I picked the wrong option. I need to pick that option. Yeah. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Come on. Right, so we want the 400C, so we want that one. Yes. And that should be it. And then we should, in theory, be able to power cycle this and actually test if games work now. So I'm going to power it off, pull that out, kill the power. And I'm going to give it a second just to, let the power dissipate. And then we'll try again. No. We'll pop a disc in. Much quieter as well, that drive. Alright, so it's working with CD-ROM. Also, this game is legit. This is a classic. Anyway, that's not what we're testing, so let's kill it. And this is the test. This is the key test, if this works. It's pretty positive that the CD is working as it is, the CD-ROM. So it's probably likely that this will work. Fingers crossed though. Yep, there we go, fixed. That's what we want to see. It's pretty cool as well. If you look from an angle like I'm doing now, you can actually see the laser on the disc, particularly with CD-ROM. But there we go, so that's loading black, and let's just I don't want to sit through the intro of this game, but I do want to quickly test it. I only had this game because it came in one of the PS2's. One of the other PS2's came with a hardcore pornography disc in it, and what did the other one come with? No, the other one came with a DVD of The Proposal, which is some shit movie. Yeah, I know. Don't make me sit through this intro, please. For the love of God, don't. Ah, I can't handle this. No, not doing it. It works, it's fine. What we'll do, we'll also check a PS1 game as well. It's always a good idea just to check. Why not show people something a bit better than a standard PS1 game? A demo disc. Why not? But yeah, these DualShock 2s, I actually do recondition these. I've fixed a whole bunch of them. Yeah, I even replaced the screws on them because they're usually knackered. There we go, look at that! Look at that! Loads PS1, loads PS2 CD-ROM, loads PS2 DVD-ROM, that's everything. Play a bit of Gex 3, eh? Why not? Right, what are people saying? Oh man, that flickering is so bad! Oh, that flickering! Look at that! Yay! Right, that'll do. That'll do. Let's kill it. As I say, I'm not cleaning this thing tonight, so there are other things to look at. There we go, this old girl is fixed. Yeah, Gex 3D was fun. Gex 3D was a ton of fun. Classic. Oh, I forgot my vape. Just crash into everything. Right, okay. Looking good, looking good. So we just need to put the DVD tray back in. Oh, bollocks, that fell off. Yeah, and then we should be good. So this goes here and here. How does this bloody go? I think I need to undo the end screws here. Do I? How does this go again? That comes out the front, that goes at the back, so the long bit goes there. That goes at the front. There we go. That's how that goes. Oy, fiddly. I'll just pop this end screw back in on the tray. Bloody warm. There we go. One good DVD drive. And we just pop the lid on it, wherever I put that. Now we're at it, we'll just give it a quick wipe. Yeah, I mean, I might end up doing Frankie's, right? It really depends on, like, how it goes. Because the problem is, as well, right? You need to bloody bake the boards. If you don't bake the boards, you're going to get severe popcorning, and popcorning's not good. I mean, I know this because I've learned it the hard way. And Vic, if he's still watching, like he gave me a lot of pointers on how to avoid popcorning. You know, you got to bake the board for something like 24 hours at about 100°C, and yeah, there's just a whole ton to it. And the problem for baking boards for me in particular is I'd have to do it on the BGA station itself because I don't have an oven specially for it. Now, I could get one, but I don't know if I'm going to spend enough time doing Frankie's as to make it worth doing that. I might give it a go at some point just on the BGA station to bake it and see how it goes. But yeah. We'll see. Right, so let me put these ribbons back in. I tell you, these ribbons are an absolute pain. It's so easy to like not plug these in correctly if you're replacing them, and to then blow out a fuse on the main board in the process. Because I've done that as well. It's very easy to do that. Learn the hard way. You know how it goes. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Always hate this part. Hey, how do I avoid? Really hate this part. Ah! Right, I think I got it. There we go. Cool. I tell you, those bloody ribbons are a pain. Right, where's my phone? I want to check on chat. I'm checking on the PC, but I'd rather check it on the phone so I can have it in front of me. There's YouTube. YouTube. Live. There we go. Try redoing gimbal transmission and control cables on a Mavic Pro. No, I'm alright, thanks. I did have a DJI drone, actually. They're really nice drones, but yeah, I bet I would not be surprised if they're a pain to work with. I mean, I found it annoying enough just replacing the propellers on the things, never mind the rest. DJI drones are fun to fly, though. It's like living in the future. In fact, it's no wonder those things are seeing so much use over in Ukraine, for example. Because, you know, far cheaper than military gear, and, you know, you can spot your enemy for artillery. I'll bet you any money some of the techs in Ukraine that are fixing those DJIs are really good at what they do. Because I bet they get tons of those in. Hey, and just like that, we have a fixed PS2. And you see, replacing the DVD laser assembly, it's not that hard, but you can. It still takes a bit of time, right? Probably lasts for another decade, this thing, or two now. Built like tanks, these things. Right. Boom Shanker. What I will do is I'll check this ejection mechanism's actually working properly. You can see I really do need to take this apart properly and, you know, blast out all of the dust and stuff like that. But again, that's not a job for today. Hey, thanks for subscribing, MSX. MSX86. Ah, good system, the MSX, from what I hear. I've never used one myself. Yeah. Yeah, man, Tony. Like, Tony, can you imagine how much skill, seriously, it must take to be able to take a knackered drone that's probably fallen like 400-500 feet, something like that, pick it up, take it back. It's probably been flying in hellish conditions. Take that thing apart and fix it. It must be crazy, man. It must be crazy. I mean, I bet a lot of them just end up donor boards, you know, especially if the unit shatters. But, like, yeah, must be crazy. And I do know they have to do some crazy software stuff as well, because they're not supposed to be able to fly those drones. I think they're region locked, so I think they've had to bypass that somehow. I don't know how. I've never looked into it, but anyway. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be firmware hacked, right? Right. It actually looks like a PS2 again now. That's still really slow, isn't it? Look at that. Hmm. I would have thought the new belt would have sorted that speed. Look at that. That's not even coming out all the way sometimes. Watch. Hmm. Well, okay. Right. Okay. So, I cannot be bothered with this one right now. So, for once in my life, I'll try and be semi-organised and label it. Right, I'll do. You know RWL 2012, you know some of your messages, you remind me of ChatGPT. Like a large language model. Right, next up, I got another one. Let's see what's wrong with this one. Yeah. Okay, we've got LED lights, so that's a good sign. I see. System battery's dead. You can tell that straight away. You see how it won't let me adjust the date. I don't know if you can see that on the screen very well, to be honest, because I know it's a CRT, but it won't let you adjust the date if the battery's dead. And that not spinning means, yeah, sure sign that the battery's gone. Right, so we'll test with CD-ROM. Let me just clean that disk. Man, this one's a bit of a dog. Alright, it's doing something. Ooh, okay, so that's having trouble reading CD-ROMs. This one's filthy though, this just could be dirt. Alright, that's spun up. See if it works with a DVD. I think this one's just going to be a dirty laser. I don't think it's going to need a replacement. We can have a look though. I mean, I've got to take it apart either way, right? I mean, it needs a new clock battery. It needs cleaving for sure. Yeah, RW, it's being filmed on a mobile phone, mate. I probably could stop it flickering if there's a setting in there for frequency, but it'll still flicker. It is definitely running at 50 Hertz, so you're right about that. Right. Come on. What was this? This is a 500, yeah, it's a 5003. Greetings from Hungary. Hello, Mr. Avalanche. Welcome. Greetings from Britain. The broken Britain. Right, we're in. Just got to cut the label. That should be it. Ooh, I like these models where you don't have to mess about with a ribbon cable. So much nicer. In September, you bought a PS2. It was faulty, game vibration not working. Okay. Hey, nice job. Yeah, I mean, the PS2 controllers, they're not too bad to repair. Really depends what's wrong with them. I mean, yeah, usually it's just a ribbon connector. And if the rumble motor's not working anymore, it's probably just a bad solder joint. This is a problem with a laser, as we just saw on testing. But I suspect the laser's fine and that it's actually just dirt, because it is a pretty nasty looking unit. It definitely needs a clean. What? There it goes, clips. Of course it's clips. Ooh, that's... Oh. HD7 revision. I haven't seen one of these yet. Okay. That's different. That's pretty dirty, though. Yeah. Okay. Later, Tony. Have a good one, man. Yeah, Black isn't a bad game. It was free for me, so it came with one of the PS2's in the drive. You know, can't grumble at that, can you? Free game. Yeah, look at that. That's not great. Hopefully cleaning it's enough. I don't like having to replace... I really don't want to replace a later revision DVD drive. Laser assembly with an older one. It's quite interesting the way these are constructed, because if you take a look, I can push this down. I'm not sure how well that shows. Probably not that well at that zoom level. But the laser focusing assembly, it's actually mounted on an actuator, and that actuator will adjust up and down as it's reading the disc to adjust for warpage in the disc shape, because the disc isn't perfectly flat. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Alright, well I think we just try it as is now and see how that works. See if that's helped. Faulty cap shorted on 6 volt there. And a fuse blown. Does happen. Yeah, it does happen. Get this plugged in. Oh, that loaded quick. Okay. And that flickering. The problem with the PS2 is it cycles between 50 Hz, 60 Hz.
Hey, come on over, have some fun with courageous body time. Let's have some fun. Go ahead, asshole. All right, let's get it on. Hey, you sound like some crazy, buddy. Are you ready? Here we go.
Yeah.
I get you there in no time.
Yeah, take me up on the hill.
Okay, but don't freak out on me.
Okay. That seems fine on CD. Let's try it on a DVD. This is another one that needs a real deep clean. Oh shit. Would help if I did that. Bush, Bush is a very cheap brand you can buy in the UK. I'm not sure if it's UK specific, it's probably some sort of OEM brand, but basically one of our big chain stores used to sell it. Well, they still do sell Bush products, but obviously not these anymore. Yeah, look, that's loading fine now, that was just a dirty laser, that's all that one was. Solder's broken. Funny that, isn't it? People really do throw away decent stuff. I mean, this just needs a clean and that's it. That's all it needs. Yeah, check this out though. Well, I'll show you now. This is always cool. I think this is really cool. So you can see there's no game in it. And it didn't load FreeMac Boot because of course it didn't. Probably too dirty. Let's try that again. To be fair, I think this cartridge slot needs a real good clean as well. The controller ports and the memory card slot. Come on, load. This shouldn't flicker either, because I think I set this to 60 Hz. Yeah, you just get that like scanning effect now. Check it out. Tell you, this thing's great. This memory card adapter for the PS2. Also, this game is like absolutely terrifying. Cheese it. But yeah. If you got a PS2, you want FreeMac Boot and you want one of these MX4 SIOs, really good. And if you repair PS2s, FreeMac Boot's actually really handy as well, because you can have like the controller calibration tool and lens changing app and all the rest of it. But yeah, this one is going to need a good going over with compressed air and a good wipe, and it needs a new battery. But a new battery means stripping it down to its motherboard, which I can do, but yeah, not right now. Okay. Yeah, okay. We'll button this one back up, just needs a clean. So I'll label it as working, but needs a clean. I will clean the DVD drive now, actually, while it's open, though. Because why not? You know, I kind of like it when it's just easy. When it's just, you know, you open it up and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just something that minor. What is that? A plastic tab. Yeah, my most annoying thing that's happened to me recently, electronics-wise, is a monitor that blew up on me, and the damage right there. Nice scorch. And this cap was meant to be 330 microfarads, and it had gone down to 100 microfarads. That was the most it could manage. Yeah, so I was all out of spec, and what it had done is, you can imagine like a square wave of 100 kilohertz hitting this little choke. Has basically made this choke generate a lot of heat, which scorched the board all around it, and amazingly caused scorching here where there's no component, but on the underside there is a MOSFET there that amazingly still works just fine. I mean, God knows how that works, but it didn't kill it. So I'm just waiting on replacement caps for that bad boy. Hey, so is life, huh? Let's see. Buy an aftermarket HDD adapter. Works fine with 1 terabyte HDD. Yeah, I mean, like, that's the other way to do it, isn't it? A hard disk drive. I just figure, considering how... Oh, God, the state of that. I consider the cost of a micro SD card is so low, you know. You know what? I'm going to be right back. Or am I? Maybe I'll stay right here, but just move this. Woo! Oh, that noise. And this one's got some gouges. Yeah. That's not going to get any better. Scratches. Yeah, that's a bit better. Only kind of fresh. I'm half-arsing this because I'm going to give it a proper clean at some point. It's just annoying me looking at it. Yeah, you see, this is the downside, is you can get them working, but, you know, that just does not look good, right? Like, look at that. I'm like, what do you do about it, you know? Because if you scrub at it, it ruins the finish of the plastic. If you scrub at it with anything other than something like a brush like that. But at the same time, it's kind of already ruined. So, you know, it's kind of a catch-22. Like, that's not good down there. That's not good. That came up fine. That might come up. I mean, you can repaint the whole PS2. And I have the equipment to do it as well, you know, I have an airbrush and stuff like that, but it's a lot of work. Because you have to repaint the entire shell, you'd have to repaint the logos on, and yeah, it's just a pain. Fixable. Possible to get something looking good again, but, you know. This might get better if I give it a soak in, like, soapy water and really go to town with this, but that's good enough for now. The main thing is, it works. And that DVD drive is as good as new because it is new. If I ever sell this, I'm going to have to sell it a bit reduced because it's just not nice physically. Well, when I sell it. Probably go on eBay at a reduced price. I normally sell these for about 35 quid, so... It's not bad, but it's not great. I mean, actually, I'm going to say, yeah, it actually is kind of bad. Thanks. Oh. What's this one? But yeah, it's been a long time since I've live streamed. Actually, I'm kind of enjoying myself because it's been a while. Over a year. I've learned quite a lot in the meantime as well. I understand a lot more about how electronics actually work. I mean, what I'm doing right now doesn't really demonstrate that because I'm not doing any PCB level repair at the moment. But you know, I will get to that. What time is it? 9:20. Okay. Searching for a 5000 one, you want to mod it and HDD it. Might have one. Give me a minute and I'll have a look. Actually, wasn't this a 5000? Yeah, this is a 5003. PAL region. See, I did think about mod chipping these, you know, because the mod chips themselves aren't that expensive. Most of the cost just comes from installation, like labor, which I can do myself, right? There we go, yeah, so this is a 5000. It definitely needs more of a cleanup to get these nasty looking scuffs and what have you off, or whatever this white crap is that's on it. I don't really know. Right, like, if you see that in the right light, it does not look good. Right? Which is a damn shame, because again, this is a 5000. Right, let's label this one as well, shall we? Somebody bought a 5000 off me that's actually in really nice shape. Medicinal benzene. I've tried IPA and things like that on these. I don't know what's going to work. Benzene's probably going to damage the ABS plastic. Or at least I think it'd damage the ABS. Never tried it, so I couldn't say for sure, but... God's sake. Finally. Where'd I put my pen? Just get some trash off this desk because I don't want... I've only just tidied this the other day. Where's my pen? Where is my pen? Oh, I think this one needed a battery as well. I had it. I wrote on the last one. There it is, it's next to me. My favourite PS2 game. Ooh, good question. Allendale USC cleaner and water goes well. I could try that bit. I actually have about 5 gallons of that stuff. Like 10 litres or something. The thing is, I've tried ultrasonic cleaning plastics before, and it really depends what plastic, but sometimes they end up being damaged, so I have to be careful. But yeah, I use Allendale Vic. That's my go-to ultrasonic cleaning fluid for PCBs. Because it gets flux off really well, so it's a good suggestion. I've just found whenever I've tried it on plastics, it's gone badly. But to be fair, I've only ever tried it on plastics in the ultrasonic cleaner. I've never just tried it as an external cleaner. Right, what do we have next? We have a 3003. This one looks quite nice. Look at that. That's actually in good condition. It's in really good shape, this one. Anyway, let's see what's up with it. Okay. Drive opens fine. Battery's dead. Oh, I'm going to need more CR2032s. Oh yeah, in answer to favourite PS2 game, probably Silent Hill 2. But there's a lot of good picks. Because I like Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3 as well. They're really good games. Okay. That loaded fine. Let's try it again. Okay, that's a good sign. Yeah, okay. That's good. Okay. This one's looking good, actually. This one's looking fine. Okay. Beep beep. Yeah, alright, it's loading PS1 as well. Just make sure it works with control pads. I know it's got a dead coin cell and it's going to need that fixing, but kind of minor. I bet that's flickering like crazy, isn't it? Yep. I just want to see if it's loading FMV, full motion video. And the codec.
This is Snake. Colonel, can you hear me? Loud and clear. What's the situation, Snake? Looks like the elevator in the back is the only way up. Just as I expected.
Seems
I'll
fine.
take the elevator to the surface, but make sure nobody sees you. If you need to, contact me by codec. The frequency is 140.
140. That's it. That was the frequency. Yeah, okay, so this one seems fine. Let's just quickly try system config. Yep, battery's definitely dead. Okay. Metal Gear Solid is an amazing game. One of the best of all time. Yeah, it does bladder. You do have to take it out. On some revisions of the PS2, you can just take the top off and the coin cell will be on the side of the DVD drive, but on some you have to take the whole board out. It's really annoying, actually. That's why I'm not doing it now, because I can't be bothered. Gran Turismo 2, Medal of Honor Frontline, Resident Evil 2, 3, all-time favourites. Yeah, Resident 2 was great, man. So was 3. And Gran Turismo was pretty fun. I mean, got a copy of that right here. Next PS2, I guess. This one's a bit not great. What is this? I don't know what revision this is because it's covered in sticky shit. It's something. What is this? What is it? Some kind of mansion. What mansion? I don't actually know what model PS2 this one is. Not a clue. Looks like it's been opened before. Ooh. Whoa, what's going on with that? That is all kinds of weird colours. Let me just check the cable. No, might not be set to. But oh, that's strange. So it's not responding to the control pad at all. And we've got this strange green tint. Which, to be fair, if it was responding to input, I'd be able to check if that is just the video settings or not. It might be. But not responding to controller inputs, that's worse. Let me just try another controller. Yeah, the colours are off. The system battery's good though. Okay, this one needs diagnostics. First up, it's a controller port. Because that's not responding, so that's number one. Yeah, I checked the connector. It's not the connector. I already have a suspicion of what the problem is. I think it might be a resistor pack on the AV circuit on the main board that may have gone bad, but it depends. It might just be that it's in the wrong video mode in the system settings that's not compatible with RGB because it might be in YBP whatever mode, but I can't change it because the controllers aren't responding, so that means there is an issue with the controller ports that needs to be resolved, and on top of that there's whatever's going on with the video circuitry. Possibly, depends. And I also have no idea what revision PS2 this is. I'll have a better idea when we've opened it. Yeah, it has been opened. It has been opened, I can tell, because somebody stuck a warranty sticker over the original warranty sticker and it says void, so somebody has been in here. This one could be more interesting. It's not just a simple laser swap, although it might need that as well. And that's interesting. That screw made a snap sound, which usually happens when the screw's never been out. Oh, I've got to switch camera. Sorry, my bad. I forgot to switch camera. Yeah, I think it's just in that YBP PR thing. We shall have a look and we shall find out. I don't care that the warranty's void. It's a bit beyond its warranty date by now. Actually, surprisingly clean inside. Sort of. Yeah, so first up, I'm just going to take a look at this controller port thing. Interesting. Doesn't look to be corroded. Now, there's very little on these boards, I know that. They tend to just be a few passive components and traces, and that's it, with a few small caps on. I do have a spare I can check. But first of all, let's just try reconnecting it and see if that sorts it. Right. Okay. Reconnecting it worked. There we go. That's having problems focusing, I can hear it. I can hear the actuators of the laser focusing assembly going up and down, up and down, up and down. It's trying to find a focusing point and it can't. And the discs just stop spinning. If we go on browser now, it'll probably say disk not recognized. Yeah. disread error. So that's a laser problem. Let's try DVD. More often than not, it's usually just one that will fail, DVD or CD. Sometimes they both go, but usually not. In this case, I could already tell what that is. So this PS2's got a problem with its CD-ROM. Its DVD seems fine. But we'll see. I'm not going to jump the gun just yet. Yeah, see, it's loading, so... What I'll do is I'll reset it now and I'll look to see if it's able... Like, I can see it's attempting to spin, and it's spinning now. We'll see if it's able to load the game before... Like, just as this animation finishes. No. So DVD and CD seem bad on this one. For both to be bad, it's usually dirt in the laser assembly. Usually. We'll see. Alright, so let's power it down. The thing with PS2's is they do have major issues with the optical pickups. The optical pickups do just go bad. Can I take the disc out of that? No, it doesn't matter. Right, have a good night, Bladder. You take care, Bladder. Well, Avon Lance, it may not need a laser adjustment. It's having trouble reading DVDs too. So I think it's just dirt. But you never know until you look. So let's have a look. Am I right? Or am I right? Probably not. We'll see. Can already tell by the DVD drive, by the way it disassembles, that this is going to be a 3000 model. I can't read the back label, but... Ooh, that's weird looking. What the hell is with that laser? It's missing its housing. Interesting. Okay. One moment. So, alrighty. I might just swap the laser. No, I'll give it a clean. I did try being clever with one of these. I tried throwing one of these laser or optical pickups into an ultrasonic cleaner, but it actually destroyed the focusing lens completely, so bad idea. Mm. Right, we'll just set this aside. Hmm. So there we go. I've exposed the actuator and the lens assembly, the focusing assembly. Oh, I'll just move it over here. And what I'm going to do is come in with a cotton swab and clean both under and on top of it. If that doesn't work, I'm not going to bother adjusting the power, because to do that properly, I'll have to take the whole motherboard out. And it's just not worth the hassle, honestly. It's really not. So what I do, if you notice, I've got some tweezers under the actuator and I'm moving it like that. I might do this under the microscope so people can see this a bit better, actually. Bear with me. Right. So I assume folks can see this just fine. What I'm going to do is clean both under and above the focus assembly. And to do that, you just pry the actuator up gently, slide a damp IPA soaked cotton swab underneath. You have to be careful because you really don't want to break the wires, and you get it right underneath like that so that you can see the swab through the lens there. Then you just rotate slide it out, then take your dry end of the cotton swab and do the same again. And just be careful not to break the connecting wires to the actuator. And then we do the same on top. And that's it. And this will either work or it won't work. If it doesn't work, it needs a replacement. Repair in Russian style. I'm not sure what you mean by that one. Right. Yeah, 99% of the time with these things, it's just lack of maintenance or poor maintenance that's led to them to fail. It's a shame, really. Right. Hey, nearly there. Right. Hey, welcome, Mr. Avalanche, for subscribing. Now then, let us see if this works. You know, I know I had the disc in the drive and I've put it here. Right, okay. Okay, it's making noises that it shouldn't be making. Not looking good though on this one. Particularly with that noise. That noise wasn't there when I took it out. So it sounds to me like this is slipping a bit. Perhaps that just needs a quick bit of lubricant. Oh, that's much quieter. I spoke too soon. Let's try a CD rather than a DVD. I don't think that had problems focusing then. I think that was okay. Hey! Still a bit slow though. And I'm not happy with the noise coming from it. I think the little plastic arm that comes from the laser assembly isn't quite mating properly with the worm gear, and so it's slipping slightly. Which might be why it's having some trouble loading right now as well. Because if it's slipping, it's not going to track precisely on that axis. Yeah. Oh, actually, I should eject this. Right. Righty-o-ho. Right, where to put that screwdriver? There. Alrighty. All I want to do is bend this arm a little bit. That's it. So if I just bend this, you got to be careful because I don't want to snap it. Just to sort of retension it a little bit. The alternative is to slide something underneath this to angle it, force it on an angle. I can see it does look ever so slightly bent. Oh, I'm still going to have to clean that laser again. Fiddly work. There we go. Alrighty. It's annoying because it really can be as simple as just having to bend a piece of plastic on these old machines because it fatigues. You know, plastic does go bad. Which is annoying, but, you know, it is what it is, right? What you gonna do? In fact, I know exactly what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. Remember, drink responsibly. So, you know, when you're playing around with live electronics, for example. Yeah, I think that's better. Absolutely, Max. Absolutely. Oh, God. PS2's are bad enough. PS3's are the worst. I've got a stack of it. Oh, stop. Is it yours I've got, Max? Cache. I'm sure it is. I've still got it, by the way. It's in pieces, but I've still got it. It still needs that slim chip, which I do have. I haven't done a chip for it. Reballed and everything. Reballed and everything. I'll show you that in a minute, actually. Right. Million capacitors, and what do we have in here? Aha. I think this is okay. It's just a noise. I don't like that noise. Right, okay, so it's loading PlayStation CD-ROM fine. I think this one's good now, apart from the noise. How am I going to fix that though? That's a question. Sounds like R2D2. Yes, Max, actually. Max. You're still with us, Max. Yeah, RW, I have moved. Basically, so there's a story to this. And it's one that won't be all that unfamiliar to most people. So, around April or May this year, I think it was May, right? I get a phone call from my letting agent. And they went, this is for the flat I used to live in. Now, wait, let me give you some context on this flat first. So, it was a big flat. The bedroom was huge. It was massive. It was about the size of probably 2 living rooms in a terrace house, you know. Or like, if all of downstairs terrace room was one room, it was about that size, the bedroom. Really big. But it had a downside. The windows, there were windows on every wall, bar one. Those windows were single glazed. And the letting agent used to try lying to me, telling me that they were double glazed. They weren't. It was just a single pane of glass and old Victorian wooden frames that had been painted with gloss paint. Anyway, the front window was this big Victorian window. I might show you guys the place, actually, in a minute, what it looked like. But anyway, like, the front window was big. So you had... It was probably as long as a car is, the front window. That was also single glazed, and it had a sliding pane of glass that you could move in front of it. And one of the old Victorian windows on that front part, because it was a series of windows that made a big viewing area. I'm not really explaining this very well, but you could open one manually, and I did that when I first moved in, and I could never quite get it to close properly again after that. I got it most of the way there, but it couldn't close, so that window would never close properly. So I'd have the sliding window that went in front of it closed. The letting agent tried to tell me that made it classified as double glazing. No, it doesn't. Double glazing is 2-pane glass, vacuum sealed in the middle. That's what double glazing, double pane glass is. Anyway, so the bedroom didn't have proper windows, like energy efficient windows. It had a hallway that was also single glazed and old Victorian style. And anyway, to give you context, cut a long story short, this flat was also all electric heating, electric cooking, electric shower, electric water boiler. Everything was electric, no gas. My electricity bill, because of how the cost of energy is, was costing me around £280 a month. Now, I'm not a heavy user. I'm not a heavy user of energy. I'm about average. Don't use that much. You know, I power a desktop PC, which most of the time is taking about 200 watts. And then a few other appliances in standby mode. Standby mode takes about 10 watts an hour. So my average load would have been about 500-600 watts an hour at most. Probably a lot less. However, in winter, this place would get absolutely freezing. And if I put the heating on and then turned it off, the flat would be cold again within 15 minutes. Easily 15 minutes. So anyway, fast forward to May. I get the call, don't I? We're going to put your rent up. Now, I was paying £600 for this place in the East Midlands, in Leicester City, actually. So we're not talking like Essex pricing here. £600 for the Midlands is kind of high for a one-bedroom flat. But I sort of went, well, it's high-ish, but I don't want the hassle of moving. It's not too bad, but it's on the upper end, because you've got to remember £600, then you've got your 250 to 280 quid a month energy bill on top of that. You know, you're already looking at like up to £900, well, close to £900. Then you got the council tax and all the rest of it. So your very basic cost of living there was very, very high for a one-bed flat. So my landlord went, yeah, going to put your rent up to £700. And I went, are you? Because I can rent a whole house for that. So I went, okay. We'll call it 650, and he agreed. And I thought to myself, why the hell am I negotiating on this piece of crap flat I've been living in? I mean, I lived in that place through the pandemic. No garden, right? I spent a year in lockdown, because that's how Leicester was, in this flat. And it drove me bonkers, right? Because, you know, what do you do when you're locked down, right? That's why I started soldering and what have you, and repairing things. But anyway, so he puts the rent up, and he's acting like I wouldn't find somewhere else. Within a week, maybe two, I found a house, which was just 2 streets away from where the flat was. So it wasn't very far to move either. I moved most of my stuff in my car. And I just said to him, you know what? Here's my month notice. See ya. And I left. And I've moved into this place that has gas central heating. My energy bills have come down by about £150 a month. So the rent here is higher, but it's only £50 higher than what he was asking at my old place. But the overall cost to run this house is much less, because it's the same council tax band. Energy cost is much less. And I've got a lot more space because I've got a whole house now. So, you know, landlords, they're money grubbers. And they put their rents up because they think they can get away with it. But they can't necessarily. When you have a reliable tenant, you have to balance whether it's worth raising your rent or not. Now, if you're mortgage free as a landlord, there's no reason to put your rent up unless, you know, you really need it. So anyway, I told him to get sod. You know, I told him to bollocks. And that was that. Now, Max, changing topic. This, I show you, this is a chip I took from a PS3 Slim. And it's already been tested. Yeah, RW. It's a conservation area where I live, so like they're not technically allowed to change the look of a place. I mean, they probably should switch the windows out without changing the look, because you can do that. But you know, take a look at this bad boy. And get it out. This is an RSX. Popcorning rate on extracting them isn't that high. The problem... Yeah, how do I describe this? So the popcorning rate on extracting one from an existing board is not that high, right? Like from a PS3 Slim in particular. Weirdly, it's the old fat ones that tend to popcorn more. There's some weird tearing on that. Let me just fix that camera tearing. Right, that should fix it. Yeah. So this is the RSX. This is a donor. This is a 40 nanometer chip. You can see it's not popcorned. Absolute git to get the metal shielding off as well. But if we flip it over, you can see I've already reballed this one, so this one's ready to go. Oh, looks like my microscope camera crashed for a second there, but yeah, that's all reballed, ready to be soldered. But yeah, popcorn it's down to moisture in the PCB, right? And the problem is, if you don't dry the board out, the board just absorbs moisture. It turns to steam during resoldering or reflow. And that steam erupts out of the PCB substrate and it causes those bubbles that you see, which are popcorn. And you know what, Max? You say it costs a PS3 by being underpowered. I don't think it did, because it was about equivalent to a 360 graphically, roughly. But I think it costs a PS3 more in just being an unreliable pile. But yeah, I've got a few of these. These are all donut chips. I have tested these with multimeters as well. I don't know if that one's any good. Is this one? That one's suspect, apparently. Slight popcorn, probably bad. That's a cell. Oh, good. I think I've got two good chips. Suspect resistance. Oh, okay. This one might be good then. As I say, that's a cell. This one's popcorned. Probably bad is what I wrote on it. It's another cell. Yeah. I don't know why I have cell processors. I was probably practicing reballing on them. Welcome back, RB King. Welcome back. Oh. Right. Right. So, I think the problem is this is slipping on the worm gear, right? That's what I'm thinking. It seems, yeah. So it slipped then. And that's the noise it makes. So that's not got enough downward pressure. So I've got to figure out a way to jerry-rig this. Yeah, the PS3, it's a shame about the PS3. Beer. Okay. So let's try this again. There we go. Yeah, Max RB King will tell you I'm terrible for getting things done timely these days. Right, so what I'm thinking here. Oh, screw's a little loose. What I'm thinking is if I get a pair of pliers and bend gently and maybe apply a bit of heat, that might do it. I should just do a live stream where I do your thing, RB, and yours, Max, in one stream. Okay, this is going to be a bit awkward. No, needs more. Oh, I'm going to build him a It's called a GBSC. I'll show you in a second the parts. I'm going to 3D print a housing for it. That's the part that's taken me ages because I've just not gotten around to it. I did have a go at it, but it didn't work out when I printed it. So it needs revising. But it's basically a retro upscaler. A cool little thing, actually, GBSC. Google it if you're curious. The Authentic King Full Flux. It's actually good stuff. It's obviously knockoff, but it's good stuff. But yeah, it's I'm gonna say it's not authentic because, well, for starters, they spell authentic wrong on Authentic Mark. Authentic Mark. China, Shenzhen. But that says Tokyo, Japan, so which is it, China? But it works really well, it's good flux. I don't care that it's fake, because it works, and it works really well. Probably came from the same factory as the official brand anyway. So it tends to work with these things. Right. Once more into the breach. Also, this is going back together fully now. I cannot be bothered to tweak this anymore. Getting on my nerves. Come on. In you go. There we go. Right. Bloody magnets on this. Maybe hard of you. But yeah, that's right. It's authentic. The RetroTink 4K. Well, Max, the RetroTink 4K is going to be a much better device. Like, unless they really mess it up somehow, which I doubt. RetroTink are pretty famous in the retro space for doing top tier stuff like that. I mean, I personally use an OSSC, which is pretty good. But, you know, if you want to do 4K, you're not going to do it with anything other than the RetroTink, so you might as well get the RetroTink, right? I mean, it looks to be a decent device. But yeah, I keep thinking about PS3s. Do you know, I've been thinking about PS3s for a while now. I have this BGA station downstairs. I've had to do loads of work on it. Like I say, it caught fire at one point. That was ages ago now, mind you. But I'm fairly sure I wired the heaters up in parallel instead of in series, which means it'll be limited to 800 watts bottom heating, whereas if I wire it in series, it'll be 2400, which is extreme bottom heating. So you should be able to preheat a board pretty fast. I need to get one of my scrap PS2's to dial in the temps on that. Well, you know, you guys talking about HDMI mods and stuff, they're actually a complete waste of money in my opinion. You're going to see very, very little in terms of gains for what you get versus an upscaler. What you want, if you have lots of retro consoles in your collection that you do play, what you want is a SCART switcher. Just get a big old SCART switcher off eBay. You probably have to get them second-hand because I don't think they make them anymore. Or maybe if you look on AliExpress, you might find one. But get a big old SCART switcher that supports RGB, because you want to use RGB for this, at a bare minimum RGB. Use good quality RGB SCART cables to each of your retro consoles that has RGB out support, which nearly everything does, sort of PS1 era onwards, except the N64 in PAL regions, which is weird, but anyway, that's whatever. But yeah, you get your SCART switcher, you plug it in, and then you just have one cable to your scaler, and all you have to do is switch channel on your SCART thing. Some SCART switches even have remote control, so you just switch which SCART input you want, and then that's it. And then you feed that SCART switch output to your upscaler, and then it's HDMI from there. Easy. That's what you want to do. The HDMI mods cost a fortune. What was it called? There's a new one. It's meant to be like a universal one. I forget the name of it. What's his face? Tito from God, what's his channel called? Macho Nacho Productions. There we go. He was reviewing them, but like, you know, he rated the product quite well. However, you've got to mod your console, so if you don't do it yourself, you've got to pay somebody else to do it. If you do it yourself, you've still got the cost of the device, which is nigh on like 180 quid. I mean, that's madness. You can buy an RGB SCART for a tenner and a decent quality upscaler. If you had to mod every one of your consoles, you're going to be dropping like, if you've got 5 consoles, you're going to be dropping like $1,000, aren't you? That'd be daft. At least in my opinion. Alright, let's try this again. Okay, wish me luck. Oh, that's much less noisy. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, let's try a DVD. Still a bit noisy. Alright, so we're looking good. We're looking good. It's just a noisy drive, not much I can do about that. However, looking good. Looking good. Yeah, I mean, some people want HDMI for ease of use. I kind of get it. It's kind of cool, right? Like, there's only one machine I'd do it to, and that's the PS1. HDMI and an X station, that's what I want to do, but it's expensive, so I'm not going to do that for a long time. Saving for a wedding. Oh crap, I forgot those two screws, didn't I? Alright, so we've got controller input again, so that's good news. We've got a working CD-ROM now, which didn't even need a replacement CD drive, it was just simply dirty. Annoyingly, it's noisy. I might revisit that off camera at some point. Excuse me. I absolutely hate these switches. You can't see what I'm doing actually, but let me zoom out. They're an absolute pain to get back in without messing up the ribbon connector. I do have spares, but I don't want to fiddle around with it because then you've got to pull everything apart. No, that don't look right. I think that'll do the job. Oh no, no it won't. That will. I had the ribbon cable in front of the DVD drive. Wouldn't have been good. Yeah, I modded my OLED Switch this year. That was fun to do. Switch modding's not that tricky, actually. It's fiddly, but it's not tricky. Of course, I only play homebrew. Entirely legal, yeah. That, definitely, 100%. I would never play pirated games. Yeah, I mean, the OLED's just worth... Like, if you're going to mod a Switch, better to get the OLED. If you can afford to. Although these days, it seems like every mod chip's been pulled from the market except the RP2040s. There's millions of those now. And like all the other brands have been kind of abandoned. Like HW Fly and all those. Probably due to cost. But when I did mine, I reballed the eMMC module to get the clock signal, no, the D0 signal off of underneath it. I had a special interposer breakout board that you put solder balls on. You soldered that to where the eMMC module was. Soldered the eMMC module on top, and then it had breakout points that you could solder for the D0 line, rather than using this weird shim that comes in at the side. Way better solution, in my opinion. Right, this one works. What date is it today? It's the 3rd, isn't it? 3rd of the 12th. 23. Boom, Shankar. No, not at all, Max. Here, I'll show you. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. There is the OLED switch. And there is the homebrew launcher. For Atmosphere custom firmware. Very cool thing about the OLED, it's got a lot of overclocking room. You can run a lot of games faster than they were originally intended, like at 60 FPS, for example. It's really nice. There you go, see? You don't get that on a standard OLED. Some pretty cool homebrew, to be fair. Well, this is open source Tomb Raider 1. Can't remember. Maybe I never saved a game. There you go. Actually runs really well, this. There, anyway. That's enough of that. Yeah, it's Homebrew RB King. It's, somebody created an open source implementation of Tomb Raider 1. You just put your Tomb Raider 1 game files on there and off you go. Works really well. One PS2 to go. I'm kind of thinking I should stop for the night because it's 11 o'clock. Near enough. So, rumours of my early demise were greatly exaggerated. Because I'm back. Yeah, I got a shit ton to do, like, console-wise. And I need to get some more listed on eBay tonight. Because I've got 80% off listing stuff. Yeah, I've got a 30003 PS2 to list. I've got a 5003, or is this for that customer? Wait. No, that's that one, isn't it? Yeah, that's the one the guy bought. Yeah, so I've got this one to list as well, which is a 5003. It's in pretty nice shape, you know. As PS2 goes, it's really not in bad shape at all. This one has been thoroughly cleaned. I've just not put the feet back on it, apparently. You know what? I'll do that now. But here's one I fixed earlier and cleaned. It's got 303 on it as well, protectant. Because I ship them out like that. I test them before they go out the door. Just like as a one last, you know, make sure it's good and doesn't come back. You know. And that's pretty much it. Where's the other feet for this? They're knocking around somewhere. If not, I'll just steal one off one of my knackered ones. But yeah, pretty nice one, this. I wouldn't be surprised if the Tomb Raider's being released on the Switch, are they? I really wouldn't, man. Well, I don't know. But anyways, I'm going to wish you all good night, 'cause I've got to be up in the morning. I've got work to do in my day job. Cody stuff. But yeah. Anyhows, it's nice seeing familiar names again. I hope you all have a good one anyway. I have no idea if my bot worked actually on Discord. I'll have to check that, but yeah. Anyways, yeah, I hope you all have a good coming week. Take it easy. Stay hydrated. And as always, I'll see you next time. And now I'll just awkwardly wheel over here and stop the stream, you know. And Vic, by the way, I want to say, about a year ago when you gave me all that help with the PS3 stuff, I really appreciated that, man. I really did. Like, thanks. Seriously. And I see you all.